So episode 29 starts off with Kinsey talking with Dylan, how upset she was, and it felt like a slap in the face that Melanie voted for them, and that she said she didn't think Kinsey was finished exploring, and that she's settling. Sincere and Melanie were talking about it, and Sincere was like, "Yeah, well, because she kissed Gall and all this," and Melanie was like, "I don't think you should be talking about this because you did the same thing." Carlin and I are just happy they're a couple. Finally, Trinity and Bryce were talking about, um, well, he was talking about how this was special because he was able to pick, because she usually picks him, and he was able to pick her. And he was like, I feel like I'm not your, and they were just talking about being in a relationship, and he was kind of, seemed like he was feeling insecure, and he said, I'm not your type on paper. And she's like, you are my type on paper, never ugly. And he was like, I'm fried or cooked or something. But I don't know. They're cute. People say stuff about Bryce and they don't know if it's real or whatever. But they're cute for whatever it is right now. I like their silliness together and that playfulness. I think it's cute. But I don't know. Kenzie's all sad eating her grilled cheese. Zach asked Corbin what he meant by being stabbed in the back by Sincere. I don't think stabbed in the back is the right word. Deceived maybe, but not stabbed in the back. But Corbin said, he was saying all those things about the kiss with Soul, and then that's not what happened. It was the total opposite. And then Carl was like, and you were defending him on what he said, and they were like, yeah. So then Zach was like, oh, I get it. But stabbed in the back, I don't think that's the phrase he wanted to use. Carl finally gets to share a bed with Anaya. He tells Anaya she's beautiful and she has natural beauty, and she's like, "Stop." So the next morning, Trinity tells Kata that um, they did the deed, but she said Bryce told her not to say anything. Parmita's talking to Kinsey, and she's like, they were talking, and because she told Kinsey she was petty last night, and Kinsey was telling her she wasn't being petty, and Parmita said, "Yeah, I talked Corbin out of, putting you up for a stupid reason, and I thought we were cool, but I know how you move, and basically I can match your energy, and I know that's right." She's like, basically, she sees Kinsey for who she is, and that's cool. She's gonna keep her where she is, and she'll just match her energy. I didn't see anything wrong with that. So Zach is telling Sincere about what he and Corbin talked about, how he felt about the way Sincere lied. And Sincere was like, "Yeah, I need to have a talk." And then Zach was like, "You didn't. I don't think you lied. You just downplayed it." And then Sincere was like, "Yeah, I downplayed it. You know how he soaks up what everybody else says and then regurgitates it. No, you didn't downplay anything. You lied. You said she asked for the kiss when you did. It was a lie." And Zach, shut up. So Sincere was talking about how bad he feels about the things that he said, and Casey was like, "Did you forget you did all that shit?" I was like, "Yeah, because of what?" Kinsey was talking to Melanie and said she wants to talk about the what happened and with the vote. And Melanie said, "Yeah, we can talk. I want to talk to you one on one so we can go through the whole conversation about what happened." So Parmita and Kinsey are talking, and I don't know why Parmita brought Tierra, but she did. And Kinsey seemed nervous, but she was kind of saying that's not what she meant. She didn't. That wasn't a petty vote, and she really likes her. Kinsey was telling Parmita that she thinks she's beautiful and sweet and nice, and Parmita's just looking like you. I can just tell she's not really buying Kinsey at all, but she's hearing her out, and she tells Kinsey, "I just don't want you to take things out on me and Corbin." Basically, living. She said living in the past, so she still thinks she has a thing. Either she thinks she has a thing for Corbin, or she's just still mad at Corbin for what happened at Casa, which I think it's the latter. So Corbin sat down with Sincere, and he was like, "So, how did you feel um, about last night? You almost got kicked. Something about, and one of the votes was from me." And Corbin told him, he was his friend and he defended him. He explained why he voted for him. He stood down. That's one thing I do like about Corbin. He doesn't back down from what he said. So Melanie and Kinsey talk, and Kinsey's like, "It just really hurt my feelings because you're my best friend in here, And Melanie was like, I don't feel like we talk. Yeah, now Melanie's your best friend. That now that Jen's gone, and even though you didn't treat her like a best friend. So Melanie was like, yeah, when Soul came in, you pretty much hung out with Soul and talked to Soul. You never once checked on me, and I just didn't trust you. Or no, she said, I didn't think you had my back. And she said, Kenzie was like, well, I just knew that um, that Soul was having a hard time when she came in here. I wanted to be there for her too. Nope, 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 Kenzie. That's not what happened. You got mad at Melanie because she was pursuing Sincere, or not Sincere, Corbin. You were pissed about that, and you immediately flipped and you went and started talking to Soul. That's exactly what happened. And you know what the killing part is? She probably doesn't even remember that's why it happened. But yeah, that's what happened. Then, of course, here come the waterworks because the tears. And Melanie's like wiping her tears, which is typical of someone like Kenzie. You get upset, you've done something that maybe hurt her feelings, but you get upset and start crying, and she wipes your tears. She literally wipes your tears. This conversation was weird. Carl was talking about how good looking everyone was in the villa, and he goes, yeah, Kata's stunning. I mean, she is. Kata is stunning, but that was kind of weird to me and random. And he kind of looks like a creep here, I'm just saying. Still like you, Carl. That's just weird. And then this was weird too, because Dylan, I don't know if this was sarcasm, because he doesn't really have much of a personality on here, but he said, oh, you're talking about girls? Oh, the girls are hot too. I was like, huh? I, Zach gets a text. It says that they're going to turn on their chemistry and see how they do at a couples karaoke competition. I don't know what everybody was doing to get ready for a karaoke competition, but there was a lot of moves when it's supposed to be karaoke. Tierra was miming. Kenzie was doing the clam slam, of course. Bryce was warming up. Okay, it's time to start. Ariana shows up. Her outfit didn't make sense to me, but now when they heard about the karaoke competition, Parmita was like, "Oh, I grew up singing, right? So I'm thinking we're gonna get something good from her." It was terrible. They did Dilemma. It was awful. Casey and Tierra did really well. They did Ain't No Mountain High, or yeah, Ain't No Mountain High Enough. Here's another one too. They were talking about how Zach could sing, and they did Endless Love. It wasn't terrible like Corbin's and Parmita's, but it wasn't great. I mean, uh, Sincere and Melanie did You Better Shape Up from Greece. They actually like the singing wasn't great, but the performance was entertaining. Carl and Anaya did Senorita. To be honest, I couldn't listen because Anaya's sound is so bad. Like she was trying to sing in like a really high key. I think it was terrible. I couldn't listen to theirs all the way through. I really couldn't. Bryce and Trinity did No Air, and it was very entertaining. It was cute. They didn't sound terrible. It was just really cute. Afterwards, they were like going over what they did, and Bryce was like, "When we were doing this part, I was thinking that's my girlfriend." Kenzie, Kenzie and Dylan did a really great job. They did "Don't Go Breaking My Heart," and of course, she did the splits, and he jumped over, and they ran out into the car. So their performance and the voices were pretty good, and their performance was very entertaining as well. So they won. The Islanders got to vote, so Kenzie and Dylan won. Ariana tells them it's not over yet. They haven't been the only ones voting. America voted for the most compatible couples. So she said, in no particular order. I need particular order, okay, from now on, guys. But anyway, so it was Nia and Carl, Bryce and Trinity, Melanie and Sincere, and I don't know who voted for that. I don't know who voted for that. I don't. I don't understand it. Now Melanie's gonna think Sincere's the greatest guy in the world for her because she thinks America sees that he's good. Whatever. That's not it, Melanie. Then the last one that was safe, and they're like, it's gonna be Kenzie. It was them, and look how shocked everyone was. Because they won karaoke, they were safe. Lucky. So the Islanders got to choose, and they had to stand behind the couples. And you see here that the only person that stood behind um, Corbin and Parmita were Casey and Tierra. Corbin got emotional leaving, and he's gone, y'all.